So, trying new things. Scary. I know. Well, new means unknown, and we tend to dislike the great unknown. But trying new things and being brave is actually necessary and super helpful for your own creative journey. Why do I tell you about this? Well, in the last few days, I tried dipping into new uncertainty that is replacing Photoshop. It's actually somewhat funny to me because I more or less grew up using Photoshop. I remember those days when Photoshop wasn't a subscription but rather a one-off payment. Everything's a subscription these days and I can't deal with it anymore. Businesses love those. I dislike them. I don't think I have to talk about why. When I was in art school and started my career, there were only a few options I heard of, like Photoshop, Painter 10 at the time, and GIMP. Photoshop, of course, was and still somehow is the industry standard. So I've been using it for many years now. GIMP always felt weird to me, but in the past months I somewhat grew an appreciation for it being free. But a creative working in the industry has to hate GIMP, right? I admit it was a little bit too pretentious for way too many years. But I opened it recently anyways and immediately saw it's still clunky. And a lot of Photoshop functions are just really complicated to set up in GIMP, like drop shadow or a simple outline with custom stroke width. But gladly, today the landscape in apps and programs looks very different. There are a lot of new products, even free or at least freemium ones like Canva or Affinity. We'll see if they stay free. I certainly hope so, but you never know. Anyways, thanks to you guys and some research, I found a really interesting software to test as a Photoshop replacement. Krita. It's a free and open source painting program. In this moment, you see me drawing this video's illustration with it. I'm still searching for some shortcuts or settings, but it was mostly very intuitive from the start for me. I'm still searching if it has a brush stabilizer, so you will notice this drawing is a bit more sketchy than my Photoshop ones. I also miss a shortcut where you can change the brush size on the go, like Option-Alt and dragging your mouse, but maybe I have to get used to it. Like pressing E for the eraser and also to switch back to the brush instead of B. But that muscle memory will slowly change, I'm sure. New programs usually aren't a lot of fun to me. The prospects of learning everything anew is intimidating. New shortcuts, new UI, where's the liquify tool? Is there even a liquify tool? How do I make a mask out of the underlying layer? I will find that out, I'm sure. And if these things are not possible, it's still a great program so far. Also, quick side note, how cute is Kiki the mascot? I tend to never change the standard shortcuts or customize them because I hate setting it up and have to change it every time on a different machine or follow a tutorial becomes impossible. Of course, it's a lot easier when you use a program that you've been using for years, right? Even then, sometimes there are updates and everything is out of whack. As I've said many times, I really dislike it when things don't work exactly like I want them to work. But it's also actually worth it to try new stuff. Everything has its downside and upside, I guess. We all might have different goals or reasons in mind. Learning a new skill, testing ourselves, boredom, or escaping the grip of big corporations, wink wink. I think there's a lot of value in trying new things. The hardest part probably is getting started. It's a lot easier to push it to the next day, week, month, and so on. There's a lot of less friction this way, but sometimes you have to push through. It requires discipline to, well, overcome your inner procrastinator. As a perfectionist, you might be confronted with a lot of problems and not many solutions when you're using new software. As a procrastinating perfectionist myself, my advice would be, let it go. It's okay. It really doesn't have to be perfect. And this time, the lines are more sketchy and wonky than in Photoshop because I'm used to the stabilizer there. Did it ruin the drawing? No. So get started, have fun, learn new things, work on it, fail, repeat. Get better and better and better. You won't look silly. Every time you mess up a little, you will realize that the world in fact did not end. You will stop fearing failure and that makes you brave. Like, incredibly brave. So be brave and don't forget to be kind to yourself and others.